we will see some more applications. Let us see one of the application, which is uh, electric field intensity due to a non-conducting spherical charge. Okay, electric field intensity due to electric field intensity due to a non-conducting spherical charge. Okay, so non-conducting spherical charge can also be treated as a dielectric spherical charge. A dielectric spherical charge where the charges are not freely movable inside the object. Okay, so what is meant by a non-conducting spherical charge or dielectric spherical charge? In this you have the charges that are fixed, they are not movable. When they are not movable, there will be no current, because whenever there is a charge movement, then only we can say that there is a current, otherwise there is no current. In such case we can call it as a non-conducting material. So in this class, firstly we find the electric field intensity due to a non-conducting spherical charge. Let us see how a non-conducting spherical charge looks like. So this is a spherical charge or sphere on which the charge is uniformly distributed on the entire volume. The charge is uniformly distributed on the entire volume. So this is a non-conducting or dielectric spherical charge in which the charge is uniformly distributed in the entire volume. Okay, so the difference between a conducting spherical charge and a non-conducting spherical charge is, in a non-conducting spherical charge, the charge is uniformly distributed in the entire volume. The charge is distributed in the entire volume, whereas in a conducting spherical charge, the charge will be resided on its surface. This is the only difference. Okay. Now, let us find the electric field intensity in both the regions. Assume the radius capital R is the radius of this non-conducting spherical charge. Okay, capital R is the radius of this non-conducting spherical charge. Now, what are the regions where we can find the electric field intensity? The first region is for a region where small r is less than capital R, and the second region is where small r is greater than capital R. Okay. So what is this region called as? This is the region inside the spherical charge. R less than capital R is the region, and it can be given as the region inside the spherical charge. Similarly, R greater than capital R can be taken as the region outside the spherical charge. The region outside the spherical charge. Now let us see one by one. Uh, I want to show this region first of all, because it is common for any type of spherical charge. That's why I am considering the first case, which is R greater than R, which is outside the spherical charge, the region outside the spherical charge. Now, in the last class, we have seen that for a spherical charge, the Gaussian surface is another sphere with the same center. For a spherical charge, sorry, in the last class, we have seen that for a spherical charge, the Gaussian surface is another sphere with the same center. Let us see the Gaussian surface outside the spherical charge. This is the center. This is the spherical charge distribution. where the charge is uniformly distributed in the entire volume, and I am considering another spherical surface enclosing this sphere of radius capital R. What is this radius? This is a imaginary radius which is smaller, and this radius is capital R. This is the Gaussian surface. Now, how can you find the field intensity? If you observe on this surface, this is the small surface on this sphere, this is the small surface on this sphere, and this is the small surface on this sphere. Like that, at each and every surface, the field intensity is in this direction, and also the differential surface vector is also in the same direction. Okay, so this is the direction of d bar, and the electric field intensity or electric flux density both are in the same direction as ds bar. Now let us apply Gauss law. Right, it is closed surface integral of d bar dot ds bar is equal to q enclosed. Now, for example, if we assume rho as the charge density of this spherical charge, volume charge density of this spherical charge, rho as the volume charge density of this spherical charge, how can you find the q enclosed? Q enclosed is nothing but enclosed charge by this Gaussian surface of radius smaller. How can you find this charge enclosed? It is equal to rho is the volume charge density which is given by coulombs per meter cube, means it gives us the charge for 1 meter cube of volume. What is the amount of charge which is available for 1 meter cube of volume can be obtained by the by charge density. Now, in order to find the total charge in this spherical charge distribution inside the Gaussian surface, you need to multiply rho with the volume of this charge, spherical charge. Okay, we have seen that the volume of the spherical charge is or the volume of a spherical object is 4 by 3 pi. What is the radius of this spherical charge? It is capital R. So rho into 4 by 3 pi r cube. This is q enclosed. Is it right or not? Now, what is d bar actually? D bar has, it is usually dr into ar bar plus d theta into a theta bar plus d phi into a phi bar. As the field is in only radial direction due to the spherical charge, you have d theta as well as d phi as 0, hence you will have d bar as dr into ar bar, and the surface element on this surface can be written as ds bar is equal to, what is the differential surface vector in radial direction? It is ar bar into, what is the differential surface element? It is dr or d theta, like that. So ds bar is equal to r square sine theta d theta d phi, r square sine theta d phi into ar bar. Now we got all the things. We got ds bar, we got d bar, and we got q enclosed. Substitute all these things in this expression. Let me write here itself. So it is surface integral of dr into ar bar dot ds bar is r square sine theta d theta d phi ar bar, and it is equal to q enclosed, which is rho into 4 by 3 pi into r cube. Okay, now for this integration, if you see ar bar dot ar bar, this is a dot product. The dot product between ar bar and ar bar is 1. So ar bar dot ar bar is 1. For this integration, what is constant? R square is constant. So I can take it out of the integration. And this integration has the variation of theta and variation of phi. So you need to substitute the limits of theta and phi. So theta is equal to 0 to pi and phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi, and it is sine theta d theta d phi. Okay, we have evaluated this surface integral many times. Its value comes out to be 4 pi. Okay, this entire value comes out to be 4 pi. We have evaluated this for many times in our previous classes. So I want to write directly it as 4 pi. You have dr also here. So 4 pi r square into dr is equal to 4 rho by 3 pi r cube. So 4 pi 4 pi gets cancelled. You don't have any other term left here. So it is dr is equal to rho into r cube by 3 into r square. Okay, let me take a separate slide. Dr is equal to rho into dr is equal to rho into capital R cube by 3r square. Rho into capital R cube by 3r square. What is the unit? It is coulomb per meter square. If you want to write in the form of a vector, you can write this as d bar is equal to rho into r cube by 3r square a r bar. A r bar coulomb per meter square. So it is not a different result, though it looks like a different value as compared to the previous spherical shell. But once you substitute the charge density as rho is equal to q, for example, if we assume the total charge instead of defining the spherical charge distribution with the charge density, if we assume q as the total charge on as which is distributed in the entire volume of spherical charge. Okay, let us assume that let q is equal to charge distributed in the entire volume, charge distributed in the entire volume. I am assuming that if q is the charge distributed in the entire volume of spherical charge, how can I relate rho and q? Rho is actually charge per unit volume. So what is the charge now? It is q divided with what is volume? Volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube, pi capital R cube. Now you will get it as 3q by 4 pi r cube. Now by substituting this term here, you will get d bar is equal to, substitute in place of rho 3q by 4 pi capital R cube multiplied with R cube by 3r square. So R cube gets cancelled, 3 gets cancelled, and you left with q by 4 pi r square. This is the same result which we got for a spherical shell. If you clearly observe, or if you recall the previous class, this is the same result which we got for the flux density outside the spherical shell, right? So this result now is not different from this result. We got the same result, but instead of considering the charge distributed in the entire volume of a spherical charge, we considered in terms of volume charge density rho. Now, from this result, what we can conclude is, for the region outside the spherical charge, which is small r greater than capital R, we have d bar uh, proportional to 1 by r square, because for a spherical charge, rho is the volume charge density. If it is a if the charge is uniformly distributed, rho is a constant. Okay, so let me write here, since rho is equal to constant, for uniform charge distribution. For uniform charge distribution, what is meant by uniform charge distribution, ma? If for 1 meter cube of volume the charge is rho, then for 2 meter cube of volume the charge must be 2 rho. For 3 meter cube of volume the charge must be 3 rho. It is called as uniform charge distribution. Okay, so for a uniform charge distribution, rho is constant. Rho is constant, and capital R is already constant for a fixed charged sphere. Now 3 is constant. Because of these two reasons, we can say that outside the spherical charge, the electric flux density is inversely proportional to R square. Same as electric field intensity, because electric field intensity is given by d bar by epsilon naught. Is it right or not? Epsilon naught is a constant, so it implies that E bar is also proportional to 1 by R square. Okay, when you are moving far away from the spherical charge distribution, it indicates that R is increasing, so that the electric field intensity will be reduced. Next, let us see the second region. What is the second region? R less than capital R. This region can be represented as the region inside the sphere. Inside the sphere. Let us show the region, how it looks like. You have a spherical charge of radius capital R, where the charge is uniformly distributed in the entire volume. In the entire volume, the charge is uniformly distributed. So let us assume this radius as capital R. Now inside this I am considering one more Gaussian surface. So this is the Gaussian surface I am considering. This Gaussian surface has the radius smaller, which is small. So smaller is less than capital R. Now let us find the electric flux density by applying Gauss law. So what is the expression for Gauss law statement? Gauss law mathematically represented like this. It is a closed surface integral of d bar dot ds bar is equal to q enclosed. Now the q enclosed is not the total charge which is distributed in the sphere, but it is less than the total charge, because the Gaussian surface is having the radius smaller, which is less than the actual radius of the sphere. Hence q enclosed is less than the previous charge. How can you find this q enclosed? As we know, the rho, which is charge density, I can find the q enclosed up to the radius small r as rho into 4 by 3 pi small r square. Okay, so this is a q enclosed. This is q enclosed. Now apply Gauss law. It is same. You will have dr ar bar dot ds is nothing but r square sine theta d theta d phi ar bar, and it is given by, it is surface integral, and it is given by 4 rho by 3 pi small r square. Okay, for this integration you will get dr into r square out of the integration, and if you take the integration of sine theta d theta d phi, if you find that value, it comes out to be 4 pi. I don't want to find this again, and it is equal to 4 rho by 3 pi r square. 4 rho by 3 pi r square. Okay, is it right or not? Oh, sorry. The volume, right? Volume is a 4 by 3 pi r cube. So you will have this as volume up to the radius smaller. So here also you will get cube. A small mistake. Sorry for that. 4 by 3 pi r cube is the volume of the imaginary sphere of radius r. Okay, and rho is the volume charge density. When you multiply rho with the volume, you will get q up to that volume. That's why I have multiplied these two things. Now let us cancel the similar terms. 4 will get cancelled, 4 pi gets cancelled, pi, and r square, and here you will have 1 r. Now what is dr? Dr can be given by rho into r divided by 3. Rho into r divided by 3 coulomb per meter square. If I want to express this in vector form, how can I express? I can express this as d bar is equal to rho into r by 3 a r bar coulomb per meter square. This is the expression for flux density outside the spherical charge, inside the spherical charge, and this is the expression for electric flux density outside the spherical charge. Okay, so let me write this. This is the flux density for the region which is outside the spherical charge, and this is the electric flux density for the region inside the spherical charge. Let us write both the equations at a single place. So it is d bar is equal to rho into capital R cube by 3r square, rho into r cube by 3r square ar bar coulomb per meter square for the region r greater than capital R. It indicates that d bar is proportional to 1 by, see here I have only, okay, you have only r square. I made a mistake here. So r square. So here d bar is proportional to 1 by r square. Next, for the region inside the spherical charge, it is rho times small r by 3 ar bar. Rho times small r by 3 ar bar coulomb per meter square, r less than capital R. Here if you observe, rho is a volume charge density. For a uniform charge distribution, rho is constant and 3 is constant. It indicates that d bar is proportional to R here. Sorry, d bar is proportional to R. Okay. If you want the expressions for electric field intensity, you can get like this. As we know that E bar is equal to d bar by epsilon naught, we can write E bar is equal to rho into r cube by 3 epsilon naught r square ar bar volt per meter for the region r greater than R. It implies that E bar is proportional to 1 by r square, magnitude of E. Similarly, E bar is equal to rho times r by 3 epsilon naught ar bar volt per meter for the region r less than R, which indicates that the magnitude of E bar, which is E, is proportional to R. Okay, we are just talking about only their magnitudes. So this is about the electric field intensity inside the spherical charge and outside the spherical charge when it is a non-conducting sphere. In a non-conducting sphere, there will be no movement for the charges. As there is no movement of the charges, the charge will be distributed in the entire volume rather than they are deposited on the surface. Let us plot the variation of E with respect to R. So I am considering this as the axis for electric field intensity from the center, and this is the radius. Consider an imaginary sphere here. Up to this point, here what is R value? 0. Exactly at this point, capital R is equal to, small r is equal to capital R. So this region is the region which is r less than capital R, and this is the region which is r greater than capital R. Now let us plot the variation. So this is the variation because inside the spherical charge, uh, magnitude of D or magnitude of E is proportional to R. When it is proportional to R, the electric field will increase when the radius increases. Now exactly at this point you have the maximum value which will be reached. If you observe here, when you substitute small r is equal to capital R cube, r square gets cancelled. It is a rho by 3, sorry, rho into capital R by 3. Here also rho into capital R by 3. And if you observe the electric field intensity, what is its value? The maximum value of the electric field intensity is at the surface, and its value is rho into capital R by 3 epsilon naught. This is the value which it gets reached when increasing from 0. Okay, and beyond the sphere, means outside the sphere, the field is having the relation like this. Okay, so up to the surface of the sphere, the field will vary like this. It will increase linearly, and from the surface of the sphere, it gets gradually reduced because E is inversely proportional to R square. So you have the plot like this: linear increase, then decrease like this. Okay, and this value, what is this value? This value is rho into R by 3 epsilon 1. This is E max value which is observed at the surface, exactly at the surface. Okay.